absolutely consider that. As the election gets closer, I'm sure there's going to be also additional opportunities. I will absolutely consider that, and I will get back to you on
All right,
that.
let me know. Okay. You previously were the assistant prosecutor when Marty Desmond, he filed this lawsuit, and he said there was a wrongful discharge. The county ended up paying $550,000. He said it was a retaliatory firing. You were the assistant prosecutor. What happened there?
Well, I can be honest with you.
Yep.
Paul Gaines was a very forgiving man, and he let a lot of conduct go unchecked for many years.
Okay.
I can assure you that if Mr. Desmond worked for me, that Mr. Desmond would not have been employed at the length of time that he was. I can't speak to the decision that Paul made at that time. You'd have to ask Paul. But he was terminated, and Marty disagreed with that. It was protracted litigation for a very long time, and ultimately the insurance company, along with the attorneys assigned to the case, opted to settle the case.
Okay, but it ended up costing us $550,000. Were you involved in that at all? I mean, you say Paul was a forgiving type of person, but he did fire Marty Desmond, they disagreed with it. So
yeah, I think his termination, the reasoning behind the termination was appropriate. There were issues that existed at the time, and Paul made the decision to terminate him. Yes, it did cost the county money. It was an unfortunate situation. Mr. Desmond, in my opinion, should have been terminated years ago.
Okay, but it did cost us the money. Now, it'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. You investigated the Ricky Morrison case, and you did it rather quickly, and you rendered a judgment that it was a wrongful firing. What was your thought process, and why was that so quick?
So I can tell you, Dan, it's kind of interesting that, I was a prosecutor for 18 years. An assistant prosecutor. Ricky Morrison was terminated. I think I was the prosecutor for about 2 days. Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware of his termination. I didn't know who Ricky Morrison was. As a matter of fact, I learned of his termination while I was at a Christmas party by a member of the media.
Right.
And I was contacted via email by Ricky Morrison's lawyer, who said to me, I'm going to sue the county unless you need to review this, that the termination was not appropriate, and you need to investigate this, or, like I said, I'm going to sue the county. So I acted quickly, and I did investigate it. And
so you reinstated Ricky Morrison?
Well, I recommended that Ricky Morrison be reinstated, and I recommended that he be reinstated with no loss of pay, no loss in health benefits, no loss in insurance coverage.
Then they still sued you. They came back and they sued you again.
They sure did.
And they got $150,000 that the county had to pay out. So that was a wrongful.
Hold on, Dan. Let me just, if I could.
Yeah.
They got $0 from me. Okay. Right. I was sued. I had my own lawyer. I fought that case. I filed a motion to dismiss, and that motion was granted. And the court, Judge Pearson, a very respected judge on the bench, indicated that there was no evidence that I had any role in Mr. Morrison's termination.
But why didn't you supply to the public what went wrong and who was involved in this wrongful termination?
Well, quite frankly, I'm also counsel for the Mahoning County Commissioners. And so as my role as lawyer, I was supposed to provide advice and counsel. I'm prohibited from speaking about the advice and counsel that I provide my clients, like any lawyer is. Yeah. But at the time, to be honest with you, I did speak out after the lawsuit was filed, and they sued me for defamation. So I was a little hesitant to speak out of, quite frankly, I didn't want to get sued again. But I can tell you that I had no role in Mr. Morrison's termination, and Mr. Morrison was brought back to work quickly, swiftly, and at no loss in pay. So, yeah, they sued me. I don't really know why.
But aren't you kind of on both sides here? Because if there was a wrongful termination, nobody paid any hefty price for that wrongful termination.
I don't understand.
What I'm saying, the commissioners, if they did terminate this person wrong, if they were fired and we go back, isn't somebody at fault here?
Well, I think that the lawsuit was filed and the lawsuit was resolved. I mean, it's not for me to say. What I can do is speak to what I did, and I can speak to the advice that I gave. And I was the lawyer, and I represent every elected official in Mahoning County. I'm the chief legal officer for Mahoning County. And, it's a job that I take very seriously. And I wasn't aware aware of the circumstances surrounding Mr. Morrison's termination. I became aware when the county was threatened to be sued because that's my job. And I did research, I did review it, and I did recommend that he be reinstated, and he was.
Yeah. What do you see as your goal here with Mahoning County? Because I have an idea, and one of my ideas, I've talked to some of the judges. I'm going to have people in here and find out why we have so much violence on our streets.
Yeah.
What role does the prosecutor's office play in that? And even Tito Brown over the weekend,